Welcome to Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, today we're ultimately going to be getting to doing some MIG welding, aluminum that is. But before we get started, I want to give you a little backstory on what we got going on here. I had a local contractor in town ask me if I'd be interested in participating in helping them construct this aluminum awning for a custom home in the Los Angeles area. He told me there's a lot of TIG welding to do. So on his approach of coming here and dropping off all this material, I right away realized that this is going to be a good candidate for the aluminum MIG welder. And he had no idea that you could even MIG weld aluminum. But what we got here to work with is we've got some 3/16 by 1 inch angle irons, and we've got some 3 inch by 8 inch 1/4 inch wall thickness aluminum C-channel. And what the plans call for is this aluminum angle welded to the face of the C-channel in a stitch weld. About every 18 inches, we need about 2 inches of a weld, and that's all my portion of the job is. Now before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the advantages and disadvantages of MIG welding versus TIG welding. Now, you certainly could TIG weld this project. The advantage is that most TIG welders have a 25-foot torch lead. This is going to allow you to get in a wide area of workspace. All the way around. My table is 5 foot by 10 foot, so I'd be able to get no problem all the way around this and even farther if I had a bigger project or a different project or something I needed to do outside of my shop. I could even take it out there and get that done. The disadvantage could be that on some guns you've got a foot pedal to deal with and you've got filler rod. So now you can imagine if you're going and doing a big job and you're working around, you're having to drag this foot pedal with you. But then some torches have the switch, the power and the voltage switch on the head of the torch. So this makes it a little bit easier and you don't need to drag that foot pedal around with you, but you still got the filler wire to deal with. On aluminum MIG, the advantage is it's fast, it's clean, it's simple, it's easy. You just basically pull the trigger and just lay your bead. Every 18 inches apart, every 2 inches in the case of what we're going to be doing, and you can just move along here fairly quickly. The disadvantage is you're limited on the workspace you have with this particular machine. It has an 8-foot gun lead. Now, the manufacturer recommends that you don't exceed 8 feet when you're welding aluminum with this machine. The aluminum is soft, it's going through the rollers, and the maximum amount is about 8 feet on the gun. But outside of that, it's a perfect candidate for the job we're going to be doing right here. So let me bring you into the machine. We'll talk a little bit about the HP Pro Pulse 300, the settings I'm going to be doing, and then we're going to get to some aluminum MIG welding. So for the wire we're going to be using ER 4043 35 thousandths 0.9 millimeters, and this comes in a 5-pound spool. That's what we're going to be using for the wire. And for the gas, we're going to be using 100% argon, and we're going to be setting this to about between 45 and 50 CFH. All right, for the settings here, we're going to go into program, and we're going to, I last was using shielded flux core here. We're going to move this up to 4043 35 thousandths 100% argon pulse. That's what we're going to use. And I like to add a volt to this. So I'm going to bump that up to about a volt, just get a little bit more power to it, and then we're going to start out, I don't know, we're going to try around 500 inches a minute, and we're going to start there and see how that is, and we'll make our adjustments accordingly as we move on. All right, let's get ready and give it a try. All right, so we're getting ready to go here. I've got it set at 500 inches a minute. We'll give it a try and see how that is. We'll make some adjustments if we need to. Well, that seems to be pretty good. I think I just might roll with that. I don't know, it might be just a little bit too hot. I think I'm just going to turn it down. We'll try 475. All right, it made the adjustment. 475 inches a minute. One thing about aluminum MIG is you want to give it a little bit of a push angle for sure. And it seems to work the best on a little push angle. I'm going to move down about 18 inches, about here. We'll give it a shot. That's a little better. I'm going to go with that. I think that's going to be good. All right, so after I got the right settings, which seemed to be right at about 475 inches a minute, that seemed to work the best. That wasn't too much adjustment. I started at 500, and that was just a little bit hot. I noticed if I would have kept going, it just seemed to be just a little hot and melting too much. But once I got it adjusted down, that one adjustment to 475, that was working really smooth. You can see that the advantage here of aluminum MIG, how fast, how clean it is. Basically, now this is sped up about 1 time faster, but you can see how much faster, cleaner, and no spatter. You just wipe a little bit of that soot off, and you're good to go. You know, some of the pieces that I'm working on here have 2 pieces of angle iron on them per the plan, and I've got those set at the dimensions they're asking for. And then some of them have a single piece of angle iron on there. You know, the customer had done all the cutting and just brought all the material over to me, which was very convenient. Again, my part of the deal was just to do the welding on it. Then they're going to be moving out and someone else is going to be doing the installation. So this is my part of the project right here. You know, you can see, and I had probably 10 of these pieces to do. You can see I'm just down to the last 3 there. And just like anything, you know, the more you do, the better and easier it gets. And you can see how smooth it seems to be laying in here. Now, one thing I want to point out on aluminum MIG, that, you know, it calls for a little bit of a push angle, and I found that works the best. If you don't do that, I found it to be pretty problematic with a lot of different issues. And another thing is, you know, you don't have to do any manipulation. You can basically pull the trigger and just push the puddle along with little or no manipulation. But I don't know, you might see that I'm just flipping the gun around very slightly. It's just habit. You know, when you do a lot of MIG welding, it's just habit to move that manipulation around. But you don't really need to, and the welds flow real nice. You know, this is a great opportunity to work with the HTP Pro Pulse 300. The machines, you know, I'm fortunate enough to have a lot of different HTP machines. I've got them all spooled with different wire for different applications. The 300 I use for aluminum MIG and you know, dual shield flux core. That is what this machine is primarily used for. I also have this gun lead here, like I mentioned, is 8 feet long. I also have a gun lead for this machine that's 12 feet long. Anyways, there's all the pieces right there. I thought I would just throw them up on the table and show you what it looks like. You know, it's a fun little project, and aluminum MIG is not something that you do all the time, or that I do all the time anyway here in the shop. And I think most you know, welding shops, probably it's not a common practice. But this is a fun little project right here. I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to show you how easy this is once the settings are right, how quick and easy it is, aluminum MIG, and it works out really well, especially for this particular project right here. Obviously, it's This is a nice, simple project. They're not all like this, but this was a good one. You know, you can see those welds, they're really not too bad. You can see they flow in there pretty nice, and the beads are pretty consistent. And you know, I'm really happy with the results of this. It worked out really good. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, learn a little bit about aluminum MIG. Don't forget to go to my website, jimbosgarage.com, and check out my torch lead holders, MIG, TIG, stick, plasma, angle grinder, table dogs, shirts, hats, and miscellaneous items. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.